Man, I don't know what I'm about to say, but I need to say some shit, man. You know, the motivation for like the material motivation, the motivation for the profit motive, the material motivation, being held in higher value than the motivation of actual harmony of life. And the trillions, the fucking hundreds of trillions, probably dollars, invested in confusing life and life's harmony with this insatiable desire to fulfill a material need. That money and that belief system has completely warped society, man. They got drugs, they got fucking, not only do they got street drugs, which is actually probably the least of our fucking worries right now, because it's the acute part. It's the part that's obvious. It's the drugs that are coming from pharmaceutical companies that have side effects that are worse than which was being treated. Side effect, man, they got fucking drugs out there whose side effects are abnormal sexual behavior. This is how we find balance in society. This is how we desexualize, de-over-sexualize. Nah, man. This is how you confuse people. This is how you leave people stuck in a whirlwind of not knowing assholes from elbows. Straight the fuck up. It's crazy to me, man. Like I was in active addiction, using drugs with needles in my arm and pipes in my mouth for over 20 years of my life, man. And that was the wool. Like in the East Coast, they call it woolas, smoking woolas, because that wool gets pulled over your eyes, and all you see is life through a fucking life. Like, this is the only bit of life you see is the life on the other side of that crack pipe. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how big your scope of reality is. That's the same shit that these phones are doing. That's the same shit that the rest of these fucking psych meds are doing it. That because it's a doctor and they're supposed to keep you, they're supposed to have your well-being. Their well-being is supposed to be your interest. You know what I'm saying? Their interest is supposed to be your your actual well-being. It's fucking not. Their interest is to sell more drugs for pharmaceutical companies that obviously, clearly don't have people's best interests in mind. If the drugs they're selling to treat symptoms have side effects that are worse than the symptoms. Mind you, the symptoms like anxiety, depression, and all the rest of these symptoms, even drug abuse, are symptoms of society. Symptoms of an unbalanced society. Symptoms of top-heavy, vast economic inequality and an inability to deal with that reality. Not saying that people are too stupid to deal with that reality. Like, the only reason people don't have more of a sense about it is because they've been telling us for I don't know how many years that we can only use 10% of our brain. You call this a rabbit hole. I call society being the ostrich in the fucking ostrich's head in the hole in the sand. That's what it is. I'm not in a rabbit hole. I'm looking shit for what it is, man. Like, straight up. And I'm get a little bit fucking excited about it because it so fucking acutely affects everybody on a daily fucking basis. And we're just supposed to go about our fucking business while people are being fractured in the center of their spirit, man. People are being fractured and shattered by this system. And then given drugs to completely sever the fractures. Like, complete disconnect from reality. By institutions we're supposed to literally trust with our life. I'm not saying every doctor's motivation is like that. I'm not. And I'm not saying even the doctors maybe probably have a lot of genuine concern and belief that like these medicines are here to help people. But man, you can't think like you can't. So they do everything except for treat the actual systemic cause for all this shit, man. They just put a Band-Aid on top of a festering wound. That's like me putting crack on top of all my problems, man. So similar, like so fucking similar. It is truly, it's an escape. It makes it so I don't have to feel the problem temporarily. But what are the side effects? Jails, institutions, and death. Spiritual death among actual regular for real death. Man, I don't know. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna post this shit. It's so fucking potent right now. But fuck, I don't know. Like, for real. Meanwhile, the more, it seems to me, the more like realness gets discussed, the more insanity seems to like manifest itself into people's lives. Like, I don't know if people think that there was, I don't know if there was people think that there was nothing you could do about it. There is. There are things that we can do about it. And you know what? There is a, I'm not going to mention the name because it says that the name ought never be drawn into public controversy. And this is not a controversy either. This is a fucking fact. There is a recovery process available that treats the symptoms of everything, not just one specific substance. It doesn't just deal with alcohol. It deals with the symptoms of everything. And the process of recovery is the process to healing. It's the process to change. It's the process to accepting reality for what it is and taking action to change that reality one person at a time, and then a collective effort produces an abundance, man. Fuck. We're supposed to be patriotic about because of like the semblance of freedom that we have, that is a semblance of freedom. Sure that we have the ability to like make a way for ourselves. Like, some people get to make a way for themselves in the midst of this chaotic fucking system, while most people are in a position to, you know, a position of either survival. It's fight or fucking flight. Either survival or run. You know what I mean? And like, some people have an opportunity. Everybody doesn't have the same opportunity. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Everybody doesn't have the same opportunity. Especially if you look at reality for what it is and say, well, it's either, what happens is you look at reality for what it is and you either make the decision, either I'm going to participate in this self-destructive way of being to the best of my ability without, and either say, fuck everybody, I'm getting mine, or you're going to be like, man, I got to do my best, man. I really got to try and find some balance within this shit to be able to provide for my family and myself, and then not create such a fucking destructive footprint in the wake of my survival. Like, this planet is abundant. If we cared for the planet instead of, if we lived with the planet instead of trying to live off of it, like, there would be unlimited possibilities. Like, without the profit motive, it's the profit motive of production that completely confuses everything, man. It completely throws a boomerang, a bent wrench into the whole fucking thing, man. And it'll be one thing. I'm not saying like, you know, you're evil because you have to live amongst this insanity, because it's not even evil or good or evil. It's just an insanity. It's just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, expecting good results, but then the results are leaving no future. They're leaving no possibility for a future. And I know I'm talking about some long outlandish shit about, 50 years from now, we're not going to be able to swim in the oceans. Okay. But what about on a personal level, man? Where the spiritual pollution caused by participating in this shit, the denial that has to happen, the indifference that has to take place, the hostility, the aggression, the anger that has to be in place in order for us to continue to be successful in a self-destructive state of being. Like, it's crazy to me, man. And then when that spiritual pollution becomes too great and becomes too vast, then the same entity who's playing fucking puppet master gives us shit like dope, or gives us shit like psych meds that any slight thing goes wrong in your life while you're on these psych meds, and you go from, oh man, damn, this shit ain't working out for me, to I want to kill myself. Like before, you had anxiety, right? And now you take this medication, and the medication, as soon as something goes wrong, you don't necessarily just get anxiety. Now you want to kill yourself. Come on, man. Shit is fucking insanity, bro. Like, insanity for real. Bro, blood, I don't know, man. Like, it's insanity. Bloke, whatever. That shit is crazy to me, man. It's so fucking crazy. I don't even want to get too much into more of it, man, because fuck. I really don't, man. I just had to vent. I wish there was a way that I could change someone else's motivations. You know what I'm saying? Like when the motivation changes from what can I take to what can I contribute, there's a whole paradigm shift that takes place. What can I contribute? What can I bring into the world to assist what's inevitable, which is change? So like in this recovery thing, like there's a lot of stuff that's contradictory. Like, it talks about just for today, right? We live just for today because we only have today. Bullshit. We have genetic memory from 300,000 years plus. We have a genetic memory of human history ingrained in our DNA. And we have the clear and obvious evidence to prove that tomorrow is going to happen. As an addict, do I want tomorrow to come in the bondage of addicted to drugs and having to wake up and do by any means necessary to get one more hit or get one more fix so I'm not dope sick? Or do I want to leave the shit that's causing more damage than it's doing good, leave it in the today so I can move out of it tomorrow? It's the same thing for society, man. This insatiable thing, it starts as this insatiable like energy that's untreated, and they'll put chemicals in you and tell you that you're being treated, but they're not treating it. They're masking it. They're disguising it. They're just altering it. It's not even masking it or disguising it. It's just being altered. It starts with, and this is part of the thing, like people are so indoctrinated with this religious shit, man, where there's some God who has control over everything, man. Man, I don't see that as a reality. Like if God had control of everything, a loving God would not make somebody suffer, man, straight up. And it's not no fucking Eve's fault for eating the fruit. Like that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. So like, do I want to continue down this destructive path? Or do I want to accept reality for what it is and start discussing ways to move forward out of it? Change the reality for ourselves, because it happens on an individual level in this recovery process. We come to a point of desperation where we can no longer suffer the way we've been suffering, because we realize that we're the ones that are causing our own suffering. So all of a sudden, what do? We go from this individualized way of life in society, in capitalism, in materialism, in addiction. We go from this individualized way of life to a communal way of life, where we enter a recovery group and learn from each other with the same cause, and we develop solutions together that help each other deal with life and make productive choices for the future. Choices that, it's guaranteed bet that tomorrow the sun's going to come up. Whether or not I wake up to it is a different choice, is a different thing. But it's a guarantee that this world is going to continue to revolve. And the sun is going to come up tomorrow. Do I want it to come up with me in bondage? Or do I want to come up with like a cohesive flow of harmony in some way to like care for the abundance that we're provided with by waking up in the physical form on this earth, on this planet? Anyway, man. Fuck. Fucking, I'm posting it.